and welcome. I'm Silvia Markovic. I'm an emotion set coach. I am a hypnotherapist, and I'm also co-founder of OCC, the Online Coaching Congress. And I'm happy that you want to enjoy today's interview with Kim Kosteck. This is your applause. Okay. And Kim Kosteck, you are an amazing person, and I'm happy that I have you here in the interview. And we want to talk about something about your work, but at first, maybe the people want to know who is Kim Kosteck. So let me see who is Kim Kosteck. Kim Kosteck is a professional organizer and certified Ziegler legacy coach. She works with individuals in both business and professional settings to discover what is keeping them from reaching their maximum potential. Ooh. Kim's professional journey took off with photography. She realized that although she was a highly skilled photographer and consultant to photography studies throughout the US, what she really loved the most was solving complex problems and offering another perspective so that someone could have a more fulfilled life by archiving their goals. Kim has hosted several in-person expositions and has taken her desire to connect individuals with professionals, hosting the Life After Diagnosis Summit. I can recommend it, and providing organizational support to the OCC. Oh, OCC sounds really interesting. What is this? So, and I need to say, when I read, when I read, the most was solving complex problem. I mean, this is something what a lot of people, yeah, need professional help, because we have sometimes a lot of complex problems we need to solve. Maybe it's sometimes also just a complex thinking of a problem. So, but Kim Kosteck, you are a professional transition coach, summit host from Life After Diagnosis. And our topic for this interview is life isn't always easy. In fact, it kind of sucks sometimes. And this is also
Thank you, my dear.
and this is also the name of your podcast. Kim, did I tell everything to our viewers, or did you miss something?
You told them enough. There's always more to a story. No, I think you covered everything. That's pretty accurate. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Kim, um, you are a professional organizer. How it came that you start from photography to a professional organizer? I know that it has something to do with solving complex problems. Um, is it like why you can have it easy? Why you want to have it easy when when you have it also complex? Or was it
Oh,
on
I
the
love
other
that.
way?
Why do it one time when you could do it 10, right? And that's funny. And I love that. I love that concept. And that we even talk about that, because that is kind of what, organizing your home, organizing your business, organizing your life. It is kind of making it where you don't have to do it 10 times. You can just do it one really awesome time.
Yeah.
So, uh, how I went from one to the other is kind of interesting in a sense. I mean, it was always in the back. And when I had my photography studio, and I had my photography studio for 12 years, I owned a high-end photography studio. And I also consulted and worked with other photographers all over the world, to help reorganize their businesses in a sense. But, again, it was like photography is really where the niche was in
Yeah.
that, and I wasn't even thinking of organizing. And I had a child with, at that time, one child with complex medical issues, and we had a lot of doctor's appointments. And then when I divorced their dad, I was, a single mom, and I had a commitment to my children that no matter what, They would never understand or see the negative effects of being a single mom. You know, my ex-husband, I knew that he wasn't going to be in the picture, and I knew it was going to be just us. And I never wanted them to suffer that. You know, they were in dance, they were in gymnastics, they were in, you know, soccer and things like that. And we wanted to make sure that we maintained it. And plus having a kid with a complex medical condition
Yeah.
with a lot of food restrictions, it
Yeah.
required a very organized life. But so that's just kind of how I lived my life. I really didn't think there was anything strange. And people say, wow, Kim, I don't know how you do it. And I say, well, I didn't realize there was another option. You know, that's just life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um and so in 2015, 2014, 2015, 2015, I closed my studio in Texas that I had for, you know, at that point about 10 years or so. And I picked up my kids as a single mom. I had three girls in elementary and junior high, and we moved to Tennessee. I had a client of mine that I worked with, another photography studio that I had helped and guided and worked with throughout the years, that kind of offered me a job, and I thought it was beautiful. I went out there and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was beautiful. And 3 months later, I moved. It was crazy. I didn't know anybody other than her, really, and a couple of other friends, but they were further away than where I was going to be. So
Yeah.
um, that's where I met my husband, my now husband. He lived there. I'd lived there for about a year or so before I met him. We got married. We moved back to Texas, and I reopened my studio. And then Hurricane Harvey came, and we were pregnant with my son.
Yeah.
And we started over. Let's have more kids. Why not? Right? He had three, I had three, and we said, let's be young and fun and have a kid, you know, because the oldest was in high school. Why not? But anyways, we had our son, and the day before my son was born, we actually had to move out of my studio, put everything into storage because of flooding and
Mhm.
Harvey. And to me, even though I had already had a plan to go back to work when my son was born, I kind of said I'm done. Like, photography was fun. I loved it. And it was harder for my clients to let go than what it was for me, surprisingly. But my life had changed, and I realized that I didn't know that I was like an anomaly that could figure out like how to navigate through life when like crap. I had watched myself. I was nice. I G rated that one. Kept coming at me. Would you be proud? Okay, shit. You know, like that really does, you know, when it's just coming at you, right? And I wanted to help other people. And so I just kind of said, let's do this. I was already Ziegler Legacy trained. I had did that. I became a Ziegler Legacy coach in like 2012, something like that. And I was presented an opportunity through the Ziegler Legacy Corporation. I was at the right place at the right time, and they were
Yeah.
accepting applications for the very first Ziegler Legacy training.
Yeah.
And I wanted in, and my application was accepted. You know, they only accepted 20 businesses, and spent a week in uh, Fresno, Texas, at the Ziegler Legacy Corporation. And yeah, so I was already kind of had that in my background, in my stuff, but just
Yeah. Yeah.
I decided to, let's switch gears. Why not? You know, people do career changes all the time, but
Yeah.
it was crazy because I felt like I was typecasted. You know, I had built such a name for me, especially in my community.
Yeah.
I was favorite portrait studio of our local. I mean, I live in a town of about 90,000 people.
Yeah. Ooh.
And Right. And that's just my immediate town. And then there's the other towns area. So I was favorite portrait studio every year for the Reader's Choice Awards, and I was small business of the year through the Chamber of Commerce one year. Like, I mean, I was super involved, and everybody knew Kim the photographer. And I knew that my newest challenge was going to be to get them to see me as something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That was hard. Probably one of my greatest challenges in life.
Yeah.
So,
But is it also organization issue that people see you with a different topic now, with a different kind of professional?
I mean, it was hard for them, I think, to make the transition.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I get it that you did all that, but I mean, you can't do two things. You're a photographer. I'm like, no, I'm pretty damn good with the camera. You're right. But, I have other skills too.
Oh my God, really?
I know. Yeah. And, and
Amazing. Yeah. Kim, I know that you have a
yes,
lot of great skills because as you came to OCC, we had it, I think it was 3 weeks before launching. It was one, no, no, what,
it was 16 days.
16 days, never. Oh, come on, 16 days, 3 weeks, it's the same. No, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. Okay. We had 16 days, and for me, it was so, oh, we need only this, and then we are finished with this, and then we have this, and then we're finished. And Prash said, uh, hey, hey, ladies. He called us ladies. I love this. Hey, ladies. I think we need Kim's help. She was professional, and oh, she had it, and yeah, I don't know, I wasn't pretty sure with it, and then we had a meeting, and I was touched by the way how not what you said everything. It was the way how you said it. Yeah, that's yeah. It was the tone of your voice that I heard. Oh, she knows what she's talking about, and this is quite. People can talk a lot, but it's always a different how they can talk about it. Yeah, and it was how you talk to us and describe what we need to do, and this is what I said. Okay, she knows. I want her. I will marry her because I yeah it's a train. Of course, it's also trained from hearing. When you have a lot of customers, you train your ear what voice how the voice changed, yeah, on different kind of
Right.
voices. And so
Voice inflection, yes.
yeah, yeah,
And Zig Ziglar talks a lot about that, yes. But your voice inflection, yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. And so I knew I want her. Oh my God. And then you explain everything, and the next thing was that you also explained it well in a tone that we can understand it. And when you explained something, and when we had a question what you explained before, you explained it again, but not on the way like, oh, do I need this to do it again? No, you was so calm, and I was so impressed by this. And then I heard you have 7 kids, and I was so, oh my God. Elma, oh, she needs to be really organized. Okay, so yeah, that was the first impression from me to you, and I never talked about it because I needed for the interview room effect.
Oh, is that what it was? It's I truly believe in meeting people where they are. Okay. Anytime somebody graces into my life and they want to have a conversation with me, chances are we are already at a crisis.
Yeah,
Okay. That is when I enter into people's lives and into people's businesses.
yeah,
And Now, crisis is defined differently by everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
And so we can't minimize what it feels like for somebody else. So, I could walk into, let's just say hands-on, because I do professional organizing hands-on, right, with clients in the Houston area. And I can walk into a home and it at first look, it looks like completely clean. Okay. I mean, there's just some hot spots here
Yeah.
and there. Maybe the closet is overwhelming or whatever. Okay. And then I could walk into somebody else's home and it could be floor to ceiling for stuff. I treat those both the exact same way, because those clients of mine are in the exact same emotional position.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We all have different tolerance levels. Okay. And it doesn't make somebody's right or wrong or what have you. But they're both overwhelmed.
Yeah.
They're both frustrated, and they both don't know where to begin.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So whether it's just a little bit of clutter hotspots, or if it's, floor to ceiling hoarding, it just, they're both overwhelmed, frustrated, and don't know where to begin.
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's just the way that it is when I come into anybody. By the time they call Kim, they typically meet that 3 criteria. So why am I going to overwhelm them even more? Why am I going to frustrate them even more? And why am I going to confuse them
Yeah.
even more when they already don't know where to start?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so my job is just really to listen, to gather where they are in like space, and in their emotions.
Yeah.
So I can evaluate to figure out what is best for you, because each person, each situation that I work with, whether it's physical stuff or digital stuff or emotional stuff, whatever it is, it's uh, we need to figure out a plan, and we need to meet that person where they are. And I have an assumption that I make about every single person. I'll say, well, you shouldn't assume anything. No, this is my assumption about every single person that I meet. That is that they are doing the best that they can with what they have.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we can always do better, and we can always try harder, and we can always be better, we can always excel, but they are currently doing the best that they can wherever they are, and they just want to do better. So so I don't judge. That's not going to get us anywhere. If I sit there, oh well, if you did this and if you did that, then you could have, whatever.
Yeah.
You just shouldn't shit on yourself. You know,
Life
don't
sucks
shit on
sometimes.
yourself.
Okay, so we all have
Life
to.
isn't easy, and it's crazy because you mentioned that, and that's what is that podcast about? It's about, or why is that titled this? Because life happens, and sometimes it slams you a curveball. And for example, while in the middle, when we were at the height of working at the OCC, I had a drunk driver total both of mine and my
Oh
husband's
my
cars
God,
one day.
yes.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
my
It was
God,
like
God. Yeah.
4:40 in the
I
morning,
see the
you
picture.
know?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, hey guys, can't work right now. Here's a picture of
And
my
we said,
car.
no,
And
Kim.
right. And I mean,
Yeah.
and he didn't have insurance, and he did a hit and run, and we had to go chase him down. And like right now we're dealing with some legal stuff, but it doesn't with that, and financial stuff with that. But on the flip side, um, it's it it is what it is. You know, I was a mess that day. I still did some work with the OCC, and I still went to work at a client's house that I had in
Amazing.
person.
Absolutely.
Y'all were amazing, because I know that I had the support behind y'all, but I also knew that I had obligations, and commitments. Integrity is a super big one. And I had a really craptastic day, you know, and I tried to do what I could where I was mentally in the day. And then I went back at it the next day and I said, okay, we can't live in that. It happened.
Yeah.
It sucks, but I can't live in it. And I needed to feel my emotions that day so I could move on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't mean that I don't have to still deal with it. We're, like I said, we're still dealing with the district attorney and the legal stuff and vehicles and, what we're going to do, because my husband and I literally in less than 2 seconds lost both of our cars.
Yeah.
Um,
This is, yeah, I know, I saw the picture and it was for us. We
yeah.
all said, "Oh my God, what happened there?" And then I asked Raj, "Hey, can I don't find Kim's address? I want to send her some flowers or something like that." And then he said, "Oh, my Sneha is sending her blessing balls and all of this." And okay, I will pray for her. And so we took how we can help you. And you were so on the day of pause, but the next day you was, and all the time we had during the day what needs to do. Kim was there. Okay, the car is there. Here's OCC. Here's my family. There's my personal customers, and you are always there. For me, it looks really like that you are also organized with your mindset and with your emotions. Yeah, because that you can clear say this is professional, this is private, this is priority number one, this is priority number two, and this I cannot deal with it
Yes.
today, maybe next week, Wednesday at 4 p.m. So uh,
Yes. I mean, I don't, and sometimes I do that. I don't have time to cry right now, but I'll deal with this. I can.
yeah,
I'm gonna cry, but I don't have time to do it right now. And then, I mean, I have realized though that I talked about my daughter that has her complex medical needs that kind of took me into this direction. When my son, my 3-year-old, he has a rare genetic condition. And when I say rare, he was a 35th medically documented case in the world with this, because
yeah,
genetics goes into the worldwide database. And he's missing 19 genes out of his second chromosome, the long arm of his second
yeah,
chromosome. I don't expect anybody to think of that, but and it's created other birth defects in a sense that are not necessarily as visible as what somebody would notice. Some of them, heart defects and
yeah,
things like that. And so, like, I have appointments. Like, for example, he has an oncologist, which is a cancer doctor. No, my son does not have cancer. However, he does have an undocumented blood disorder that they are writing an article on him about right now, and
yeah,
they feel confident that it's very likely that these blood cells, they have a very high likelihood of mutating into like a lymphoma or something later. And so we're on top of it. So that's why he has at 3 years old,
yeah,
a hematologist, oncologist. But anyways, let's just talk about that doctor, for example. That one typically doesn't necessarily come with all the best news when we go. There's a couple of doctors where I know when we go there, it's going to be like, oh, they're going to probably give us craptastic news that's going to suck. Or like when we went to the heart doctor and they said that, my son might have to have a heart transplant one day
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
Those appointments, hold on, those appointments I never schedule in the morning. All of my other doctor's appointments, when I'm scheduling stuff, any doctor's appointments for myself, my kids, I typically always schedule in the morning, first appointment. Why? Because I can get in, get out, and have the rest of my day.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
But
this,
that appointment,
yeah.
I always scheduled towards the end of the day. I take the last appointment. Sometimes the last appointment isn't until noon or is noon, but I take the last appointment of that day. Why? Because I know they're going to give me craptastic news. And I
Yeah,
know that I need to come home and I'm going to have to deal with it. And I'd rather have the amount of time before I go to bed shortened. Do you see
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Instead of dealing in it literally all day long, I'm only dealing in it for 4 hours.
you are.
And I can
You,
go to sleep and I can wake up instead of dealing with it for 10 hours, because
yeah,
it's gonna stay in your brain. I already know, like it's gonna
yeah,
bother me, it's gonna stay in my brain. But if I go to sleep and I wake up and the next day I'll be better,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
You are absolutely,
Um,
yeah, absolutely right with the steps and of what you're thinking about. And I need to ask you because um as you said, then I have to do some hours with it, and then I it's in the evening. Then I go to bed and then the next morning is yeah. I say it now with my words. It's another day. Okay, so for me, it impressed me when I hear how people deal with their life when also when they hear something what is not so good news, like for your son. I'm sorry for that. And but for me, it's also how people have this. Do they wake up in the morning and say, "I will do it on this way"? All important appointments in the morning, and that I have it that the information in the evening, and then I can go to bed. How is the process of thinking when someone, yeah, want to do it on this way for organization like you do it? Was it a planned
well,
process, or did this?
mm-mm. So, I mean, I honestly came about that on accident, and a lot of the things that I come about. So I think we should give ourselves checks.
Yeah,
Okay. So when something happens, we need to kind of check ourselves. Okay. So what just happened and what was different this time? Okay. And we should be constantly reevaluating ourselves and our experiences. Okay. So I I have a friend whose son has cystic fibrosis, a really, really, really good friend of mine. I
yeah,
love her. And cystic fibrosis is a very nasty, horrible, horrible, horrible condition. Okay. And her son is very complex in itself. Like, again, why do it simple when you could have it the hardest, right? So, um, and that's kind of like what what is up with Isaac as well. He's got some other things that are adding to his
yeah,
cystic fibrosis and
yeah,
stuff. But anyways, and so she is pretty much my go-to person when I call her, right? And because she can relate with me. I mean, there were times with my daughter when Isaac, her son, and my daughter Karina would both be hospitalized at Texas Children's Hospital at the same time. And it would be completely coincidental, right?
yeah,
Completely coincidental. And it's like, I'm already admitted, and the next thing you know, I see she's in the ER, and I'm like, "Hey, what's up?" you know, and we created, right, and we were both single moms, at least during that time. We were,
yeah,
she's remarried, I'm remarried, but we were both single moms, and her and I at night we would sneak out of the hospital rooms. Okay, I mean it was okay. We're in a children's hospital. They know that, and her and I would go sit outside and for hours and just talk while our kids were sleeping.
yeah,
We weren't going to be able to sleep anyways, and they were sleeping just fine and they were taken care of. And her and I would just sit outside for hours and talk and cry and be angry with the world or whatever. And then we would also tell each other, "All right, it's time to move on.
yeah,
Mom, we got to go be strong for our kids."
yeah,
We have super
yeah,
sick kids. Oh, it's gonna get me, you know what I mean, thinking about that moment in time. And that time, and Crystal, I'm gonna have her watch this, the mom, because she knows, we know it shaped both of us as parents, that we're dealing with super sick kids a lot. I mean, we had other people that were there, but we realized, and I think in that how does somebody start doing this is you realize that we have to move on to tomorrow, because it doesn't matter. I mean, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to give up my child? No. My kid needs me, and I need them just as much as they need me, and so therefore I am of no use to them in their life if I'm a mess.
yeah,
And
yeah,
and I owe that to them. So I just kind of realized that it sucked that day, and so therefore I have to be in go mode after I felt my feelings. And I typically did feel better after I slept for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so when I realized that, then I can't control the news that the doctor is going to give me. And it is really exciting when it doesn't come with craptastic news, like that is really exciting. However, if I and sometimes I judge it wrong and I think it's going to be a great appointment. And the next thing, I mean, that happened to us recently, both of my kids. I'm like, all right, it was an 8 a.m. appointment. Let's go in. We're going to knock this out of the ballpark. And next thing you know, I find out that my daughter is back in failure to thrive. And my son has, like a bleed in his upper GI. And I'm like, shit, well, that sucked.
Yeah. 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 Of course. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah.
and I had a full day that was planned afterwards, but I've realized if and so I try to teach that back to other people. If you if you feel like something is going to come at you bad, then plan it to the end. It's still going to happen. You know what I mean? If you have no control over it. Now, if it's a consequence, and of a situation, then you should plan that towards the beginning of the day so you can get the anxiety over with,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. These
So,
are really great. These are really amazing and great
sorry.
from you. No, don't say sorry, because it's really important. And for me, it also sounds like that you are not only look at the moment, that you look what can happen when I deal with a situation in a bad way. What can happen when I let my child feel how I feel, and all the pain, or all what sucks for me, what happened with my child, and what can happen in 10 years with it. So it sounds like for me that you are really perspective for the future, and that you want to protect that it don't happen in a bad way for your child.
Right. And I mean, yes, and I'm not a helicopter parent, like this is there, oh no, nothing, bad, whatever. And that's different. But at the same time, I do try to look at how do I want this to influence their life later. My
Yeah,
son, I want him to, if he wants to play sports and he wants to play football, what do we need to do today when he
yeah,
is 3 years old to make sure that he has the longest life, the best, most fullest life that he could have?
yeah,
What do we need to be paying attention? And there's a lot of times where doctors just want to talk about the here and now, and they're
yeah,
like, well, we're doing great here and now. I understand that, but he will grow up. And I'm glad that I did that, because I look at my daughter, who is 14 now, and she is in 8th grade. She does have a gastronomy tube, like a little a port like in her stomach,
yeah,
for she doesn't really use it the way that she used to be. But it was a hard decision. It was an argument, like a disagreement between a couple of doctors, and I
yeah,
had another one that supported it. And it was the best decision we could have made, because it made her even healthier, even stronger. It gave her the nutrition that she needed, that she couldn't do. I mean, she would have been okay the other way, but now she's in volleyball. She's a cheerleader. She
yeah.
is doing things that they
Amazing.
said that she would have never been able to do. Right.
Yeah,
Put that in, the year before that, she was being prescribed a wheelchair.
yeah,
And
yeah,
now, she's in tumbling, she's in a lot of physical therapy, a lot of, I mean, it
yeah,
wasn't just that. But the point is yes, it's hard. Yes, it was hard to do physical therapy twice a week,
yeah,
on top of school, on top of other kids, on top of all that. But then I look at my kid right now, who is doing the things that she would not have been able to do, the things. And so you're telling her hard work and dedication. I mean, she had to put in the hard work.
yeah,
I just made it available for her to put in the work to be able to do the physical therapy, to be able to understand and to learn. And she has a very strict regimen. She has to drink at least 100 ounces of fluid every day.
Yeah.
50% of them have to be electrolyte infused, like Gatorade, salt water,
Yeah.
things like that. And she knows that this is her regimen, but she gets to do all the things, it takes a little bit of hard work. And so
Yeah.
the way that I see it is she's a beast, like that's a kid, a force to be reckoned
Awesome.
with.
Yeah.
Like you don't, yeah. But you can do it. You just have to, it's hard now.
Yeah.
It was hard she has a lot of diet restrictions, and it was hard to make those diet restrictions. It was super hard to make those diet restrictions. And it was hard for her to see 5 years later. You know what I mean? Like if you made that diet restrictions, what it was going to do for your
Yeah.
life 5 years later. But 5 years ago, you were a super sick kid. 5 years ago, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you never made perfect attendance. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And now, she was so pissed when COVID happened, because she was like, I was going to have perfect attendance this year. And that might not be important to most kids,
Yeah.
but to a kid that has spent weeks on end in a hospital most of her life, it's pretty important,
Yeah, of course. That's really pretty important. And for I, it's really interesting what happened with your. It's really interesting. Maybe it's not the right sentence for it, but it's for me interesting to hear what happened in your family life and also what happened in your professional life. And because I have the question, do you think that all needs to happen that you are now so a professional and great organization coach?
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if it all needed to happen,
Yeah,
right? Is that the question? If it all needed to happen. But I know that I see every challenge that I have experienced, and believe me, I've experienced some whammies. I'm experiencing a very personal one with my oldest daughter right now.
yeah,
I see it honestly as a blessing,
yeah,
and an opportunity. So quit, oh, this sucks, oh, that whatever. Every, sucky thing that happened, right, in my life, um, everything that wasn't easy, I wasn't going to live in that moment, and I wasn't going to let it be for nothing.
yeah,
When our cars were totaled, and we have been complaining about this street for 30 years, at least. Um, and they put stop signs up about 25 years ago or so, 20 years ago, maybe. And it hasn't done anything. And to me, that was enough. And that next day, that night, I created a petition. I want road humps on this street.
yeah,
We took it to city council that night, to the
yeah,
city council member. And I want this fixed because it devastated my family. And I would almost feel responsible if I did nothing and it devastates another family.
yeah, yeah,
We have the obligation um, to to do for others,
yeah,
in my opinion, to allow them to save them from the pain. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. It makes sense because it shows this is how your mindset works. It looks always in the future. What can I do now to to
Yes.
protect the future of happening on the best way? What is
Yes.
what I can do? What is what I can control now? It's not that it when I understand you right, then it's not that you want to control each person, each second, each minute, each
No.
hour, each day. It's just what happened. This is the situation. What I can deal now. What I can do the best with it on the best way to
Yes.
protect what will happen in the future. Uh,
Yes, that's exactly right. Making the best out of, a crappy situation. And that's what like my podcast and all that is about. Is life isn't always easy. In fact, it kind of sucks sometimes, but that doesn't mean you need to live there.
yeah,
What
yeah,
can we do to make it better?
yeah. Kim, we have created OCC too. To shake with our eyebrows. Just 1 second, I will try it again. And we have created OCC because we want to clarify the different kind of coaching. Yeah. There
Hmm.
there's a lot of coaching types around the world. And when I'm a client and I think, oh, maybe when I look in my garage, okay, there are maybe just only 50 boxes, not all sorted. And but I want but I don't believe that when I yeah clear all the boxes that my life will change on the same way. And but is this also something what happened in your coaching when people start to clear some boxes, some old boxes that also changed in their life?
I don't know if I 100% understand. Uh, it's,
Yeah, that's
but
my
that's
that's
not uncommon for
my
me
mindset
to not
part of
understand.
it. And when a client comes to you and he's saying, oh well, I have some boxes in my garage, there are 50 boxes, and
Yeah.
I'm maybe there are some boxes I don't need them. Does it happen that when clients after your coaching for organization that they say, I don't know what happened, but I would say something changed now?
Right. So, I can tell you that 9 times out of 10, I don't really, I mean, I listen to what they're saying, but what I listen to is what they're saying,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know? And what they are typically telling me are symptoms.
yeah.
Does that make sense? Not the problem.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Um,
Because sometimes they really don't know what is the problem.
well, they think they know. They think they
Ah,
know,
okay.
but what is really the problem is actually just symptoms of the problem.
Ah,
It's
okay.
just it's just the results of the problem, right?
Yeah,
So, for
yeah,
example, the problem. Let's just talk about organizing in someone's home.
yeah,
Okay, they think that the problem is the closet space,
yeah.
or maybe they have too many clothes, but the real problem is their Amazon addiction.
No.
I know, crazy, but that's not the problem, and so, or they think the problem is the space. So the
Yeah.
same thing in, oh, we have an Amber Alert. Sorry. If you hear all the Amber Alerts that are going off in my house.
Okay.
So, but anyways, the uh what they think is, like, let's just say, the problem is that I can't, um I don't know, like, it's the job, or it's the fact that they have a sick kid, or whatever. And that's not really the problem. The problem is their approach to it, or
Yeah,
their vision of it. And so
yeah,
when I work with someone and I kind of tell them, hey, that's great. And I think that that is super important, and we will address that. Okay. However, we need to do A, B, and C first before we can address that.
yeah,
And if all I need you to do is just trust me and trust my method and trust my system.
yeah,
And then when they look back, their perspective, and that's what I needed to change, was their perspective. And so,
yeah,
I go to them to understand, go to their mindset to understand their mindset and their mental space. But my goal is to get them to honestly shift their entire view of, pulling away from a victim mindset, in a sense. It's not me, it's the closet. it's not me, it's the fact that I have a sick kid.
Yeah.
It's not me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but it's not me, I received a divorce, 'cause I'm getting a
Yeah.
divorce or something like that. um and that's it. But that's typically what I do, is I work with people, the majority of them, in coaching in a major life event where they've experienced a major life change,
Yeah.
and that may not have been them. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They may
Yeah.
not have had a say so in it. You receive a diagnosis. My day was going, I know exactly what it's like to have a completely normal day. You're going about everything the fine, and then you get a phone call and you get news that changes your life. It
Yeah.
changes everything, every aspect of my life as I knew it. And I know what that's like. Um, would I take that moment back? Absolutely not. I mean, do I wish that I didn't have sick kids? I don't wish I had sick kids. Absolutely, of course. I would want nothing more. I mean, that's what people, when they're pregnant and they're having a baby, all I care about is that it's healthy.
Yeah.
I actually, it's crazy, is with my son, I didn't say that. After having a chronically ill child, and with my son, I didn't say that. And I said, you know, if he's not healthy, if he's not perfect by what society defines, I'm okay with that, because we'll handle it. You know what I mean? I'll still
Yeah.
love him,
Yeah.
and and challenge accepted.
Oh, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting that you said what society stamp up, what needs to be normal or regular. I think, yeah, just
I do what
different.
I want. I do what I want.
Yeah, yeah. I said sometimes to my friends when they say, I don't know that, but this needs to be normal. And then I say to my friends, I don't let me tell from a normal person how I need to be normal. So this is what this is so my mindset and my emotions, that I don't let me from anyone tell how I need to deal with it, because when it's not on when they are not on my aisle of thinking. So, but
I I'm with you. I mean, like, that's the way just because that's the way you do it, who am I to judge,
yeah,
what it is? and
yeah,
and and we're all a little crazy, and people can think that I'm normal. Nope, 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 nope.
I would say that I'm normal. I am normal.
Okay.
Yes, Kim, I'm normal.
Whatever makes you feel better about yourself, Sylvia. I
I,
don't know. I feel like there's conversations that we have. I feel like we're soul sisters. Just on the other side, I was like, I get you. Although it
yeah.
is on my bucket list, I told people, never put arguing with a German on your bucket list. Like, that's not something you want.
This is so, this
You
is,
might cry afterwards. I didn't, though.
I love it. So, Kim, okay,
Yes.
I think we know now a little bit more about what you do as an organization coach, and how you reorganize the life of people when they come to you with difficult and different kinds of issues. And I think we learned a lot from you about how we can make important appointments, and how we can deal with it. And I think we also know now, why is it so important. It's not from the situation, it's what can happen when I don't move now, and when I don't deal with it now. Yeah,
Right.
because it's always the perspective in the future. What can I do now to change my future in a better way? Okay,
Yeah.
this is what we know now from you as an organization coach. And I would say I will immediately hire you, immediately, until I find out something don't work really, because I work with you together, and I'm really impressed about the way how you work and how you deal with 20 tabs. I don't know. And who what and you have your list, and I know that yeah, I know your desktop because you have your post-its, what is important. I know it, and you have two different kinds of tools for schedule each day. This is really, yeah, I'm so absolutely impressed. And that you also know what each person needs to do. This is what a project manager needs to know about it. Yeah, it's like similar to a project manager. Yeah. So, but when I want to know something about Kim, like what kind of advice would the today's Kim gave her 17-year-old Kim?
Oh, you're gonna make me cry. And no,
Sorry.
you know what? No, 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 no. It's okay because I'm a very real and authentic person, and I'm gonna feel it from. And I say that because I have an 18-year-old right now. It's struggling
Okay.
with life transit. So no, I think that that's great, and I will answer that. So Kim today would tell her 17-year-old Kim to love yourself and believe in yourself, that we all have the power to change the world, and you have to love yourself and believe in yourself and love other people. And if I, I would not change anything, right? Because that is who I am, where I am, and where, absolutely, there's nothing that would change in my life. Um, some things maybe I would have done them a little bit sooner,
Okay.
but I would honestly say to love do everything that you do out of love for yourself and value for yourself. I mean, when I say love yourself, I don't just mean like, oh, it's all about me. No, 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 no. I mean valuing who you are as a person that this world has to offer, and valuing other people, loving other people. Everything that you do in love. And because that is something that I truly feel that guides me who I am now. I want road humps in my community because I love people. I want to slow down the traffic because I love people and I don't want them to hurt. I everything that I want to do. And then little things like that, you do change the world. You don't realize what your influence is on other people. My summit, the Life After Diagnosis Summit, I didn't realize the lives that I would truly change until the responses came back in afterwards. Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I needed when I needed it, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I did that out of love. So I would tell my 17-year-old self to do it all out of love, to value who they are, and to value others. And that's partly, an easy question a little bit because I got a bunch of teenagers in my house, and that's what I try to tell them.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Kim. Just only one question for one last question is do you
Don't make me cry.
tell me?
Seriously.
Yeah, sorry, but I'm an
Oh,
emotions ed coach.
oh my God. Whatever. I okay.
Okay, and yeah, this is one of my as an emotions ed coach. I don't know where it comes from, but I make a lot of people cry. I don't know where it comes from, but I find the trigger point, and then I
That
can
was it.
then we can solve it immediately, and we can move on fast. So
Yes.
it's like in intuition. I don't know. I find all trigger points. What is so okay,
Thanks.
and yeah. Do you come with your coaching issues on some coaching limits, like when I come to you and I said, oh, I need a coach for organization, and maybe I have also problems with my life, and also I want to find the true love. And when we are on the way, when we have all to deal with this, I want to start a boundary challenge, or something like how I can create my own boundaries, and how I can deal with any XT. Can I came with all issues to you?
No.
Why?
Um, well, it has nothing to do with, I guess, capability. I mean, because there's everybody with coaches, we have skills, and they could be applied in other places. However, um, if there's different areas of your life that need a more mm, more laser focus, right? Then you should go see a specialist. So again, I mean, yes, I'm doctor brain in a sense because I deal with so many medical things on daily, but the way that I see it is kids and pediatricians are you and general practitioner, right? Like if you go to a general doctor, they that's what they do is they can general, and there are life coaches that just kind of do, general stuff, right? But if you have an issue with your heart, you go to a cardiologist. If you have an issue
Yeah,
with your stomach, you go to a GI doctor. Like
yeah,
so with you have specialists for a reason,
yeah,
there are, and it's not knocking the general practitioner, you know what I mean? They are the first line of defense,
yeah,
and they're to help,
yeah.
and they're also there to help you get you in the right direction. I'm not a general practitioner.
A general practitioner. Okay, this is important to know. This is really important to
Yeah,
know because
I,
we can interpret sometimes, or organization can be organization, also relationship, organization this kind, this kind, this kind. And this is why I think OCC is really helpful for a lot of people, that they understand the kind of coaching, the different kind of coachings, and what is the yeah, what is inside in the coaching.
right, and right. And so for me, again, crisis and chaos is typically what um
Hello,
what I
emergency.
thrive in. I know I thrive in crisis and chaos, and not just, I mean, the ones that they're experiencing right then, but they're tired of crisis and chaos. Crisis
Yeah,
and chaos will come. My great grandmother, who is probably one of the I mean, there's a lot of quotes. There's a lot of people that have been in my brain, and they just kind of like, zzz, and then they stay there, right? And I think about them all the time. And my great grandmother is one of them. She died at 99 years old, and she says, life is nothing but a bunch of problems. By the time you figure one out, another one is going to come right along behind it. And that, so somebody could look at that two ways, and they could say, wow, that's depressing.
yeah,
Or, or that's reactively,
yeah,
right? If
yeah,
you're reacting to that,
yeah,
okay? Or you could be proactive,
yeah,
and you could say, life is a bunch of problems. I know that another one is going to come.
yeah,
Am I prepared for it?
yeah, yeah. Oh, oh, great. Only John, one more question about what your grandma said. Like, yeah,
It's okay.
Sylvia.
It's okay.
Do you think
Sylvia.
so? Do you think that life prepares us with problems due to we start with small problems, and then we will bigger because you are prepared for the bigger one? Just like there's something what we don't see, but we can, yeah, in a theoretic way it can be.
So this is where I'm gonna get a little controversial.
Yeah.
Oh, Kim's getting controversial. So this is where I am very strong in my faith.
Okay.
Okay. And and in my faith and in my beliefs is that God does not make mistakes, that I believe in the Bible, and in the Bible it tells us that God is perfect. And so by default, if he is perfect, he does not make mistakes. And I actually have a presentation that's called God Doesn't Make Mistakes. And because that was a phrase that I told my daughter when she was literally crying in a bathtub one time when she was like 7, 8 years old. And this was a lesson, just as much a lesson to her as what it was coming out of me through her, right? And so if by default God is or does not make mistakes because he is perfect, then who am I to question his plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So is it setting us up? What I will tell you is this, is every challenge that I have ever experienced. Okay.
Yeah.
When I look back on it, another greater opportunity for me to change that challenge has happened.
Yeah.
So, every challenge that I have experienced from, let's say, my daughter's diagnosis of eosinophilic esophagitis, okay, and the life changes or whatever that's happened. Since then, we have changed the way that our school district of like almost 24,000 kids, the way that they address food allergies, the way that they address, medical plans and 504s and specialty things. We have changed that for the kids of the future. She changed that.
Yeah.
She came to me one day and said, "Mom, I want to eat lunch at school." And I was like, "Oh, that's dangerous." Okay, babe, let's make it happen, and we did. And if it wasn't for my daughter's diagnosis, and if it wasn't for, her wanting that, if it wasn't for that, who knows where we would be right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So everything, it's hard to see that. You know what I mean? It's hard to see that. I don't know why both of my cars were totaled a week ago, but I know at some point I will look back and say it was a blessing.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, that's it. One day we will look back and then we will say it is a blessing. I think that are great words for the end. We talk over the time, but it was so interesting. I could not stop. Sorry for all the guys watching. I could not stop. I could not stop. Because
Sorry, not sorry.
sorry, because there's so important information in it, really important information. And when the people hear, they can hear a lot of coaching tips in it, a lot of coaching tips in it. And now I will end. Kim, thank you so much for being part of OCC. Thank you so much for your engagement, and thank you so much for your amazing work. For everyone who wants to know more about Kim, you will find all information under the video. You will find all the information on our website, onlinecoachingcongress.com. And I can only recommend you need to hire Kim when you struggle with some organizations. And when you want to prepare a summit, please tell her how much month before, not 16 days before, how much month?
At least 3 to 4. Okay.
3 to 4
Bring
months.
me into your life 3 to 4 months before you plan on running a summit, and I'll help you.
Great. This is good to know. Not that the people think 16 days, or maybe she will also run it in 10. Okay, no. No, not 10. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found all information you need and that you know now what an organization coach is doing. And I hope you enjoyed all the other coaching tips from Kim. So Kim, thank you so much and thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye. Mwah.